Good morning. I'm meteorologist Bill Keneely here in Anahuac, Texas. We have a landfall of Edouard to our east. We're getting winds gusting very highly here. Trinity Bay right behind me. We'll have a full report coming up next.
It has made landfall between Sabine Pass and High Island, Texas, and Edouard is headed to the west-northwest at about 14 miles per hour now. That'll put in the vicinity of Waco and Dallas by tomorrow morning. That's the track that it will be taking. And we want to take you to Anahuac, Texas. Bill Keneely arrived there a little time ago, just in advance of the landfall of this tropical storm. Bill, how are conditions now? It looked like wind is really beginning to howl.
They certainly are, Marshall. Thank you very much. Yes, we're here in Anahuac. We're actually about 40 miles east of downtown Houston. We left Houston. There was no rain at the time, but we got into that wall of rain up on 10 here about halfway, and the winds here have been increasing from generally a northerly direction. So even though there's a big body of water, the Trinity Bay behind me to our left, we're not all that concerned with a storm surge here for now. If our system actually does pass just to our south, our wind should actually back around from the north and then turn more southerly in time. And then also we'll get the risk of maybe some higher water down the road. But Marshall, we still have power out here. We are just off of Interstate 10, so we're closer to I-10 than we are to the Gulf Coast itself. But once again, Edouard is coming in about 25 to 40 miles to our southeast. Thereby, we're thinking the worst is yet to come. I would estimate our winds here in the squalls gusting as high as 40 to maybe 45 miles per hour, and they are sustained at about 20, 25 right now. The other worry here will be the concern of maybe a spin-up here, possibly or some water spouts off of that very warm water of the Trinity Bay. So we'll continue to monitor it here, but as we have said, the worst is still probably another 1 to 2 hours of deteriorating conditions here to the east of downtown Houston by about 40 miles. Let's head now down southeast of Houston, down I-45, and say good morning to Stephanie Abrams. Stephanie, how's it down there? We're getting buffeted pretty good up here, up in the town of Anahuac.
And I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams, Galveston. Bill, I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you, so I'm not sure if you asked me a question or such. Of course, as you can see, Bill is getting hit a little bit harder by Tropical Storm Edouard than we are here in Galveston. He is north of where we are located. Actually, as a matter of fact, even though we're right on the beach, this made landfall north of we are. We're actually getting a northwest wind, offshore wind, so that's causing really no problems for us. Let me show you here. I was on top of, if you were with us earlier in the show, on top of this wall. This, of course, is the seawall here, and this was built after the 1900 hurricane to stop any surge from affecting Galveston. As you can see today, it's just allowing runoff to come from the city, and it's making a path all the way out to sea. But the beach is wide open. We have no problems with surge here. Again, an offshore flow is going to push the water out instead of onshore here. And not a lot of wind. It hasn't been too bad. The biggest gust I could record was couple of hours, and Tropical Storm Edouard continues to rotate around, counterclockwise flow, bringing down some rain here. And as you see it, look on the radar here, wide, you can see that counterclockwise spin of Edouard. Tropical storms spin in this motion, as do hurricanes and low pressures, all kind of in the same family, so to speak. The rain extends from Houston all the way to Lafayette, Louisiana, and landfall, of course, was in the upper Texas coast. But it doesn't exactly matter where landfall is because the effects are felt far out from the center of circulation. Where you see the green, that's light rain. In respect to the yellow, that's a little bit heavier. And then even heavier, if you see any red on the radar picture heading through your town, that's where you will have the downpours. And typically you have gustier winds where you see the red on the radar there. Some bigger thunderstorms can produce some of those stronger winds. So let's talk about the forecast here through the area. Houston, we are going to be a little bit on the cooler side, 85 degrees, windy and wet, 3 to 5 inches, maybe a little bit more locally. Flash flood watch is in effect, and then over the next couple of days, we will see thunderstorms. The sunshine return. That means the temperatures will be on the rise. And speaking of